The FoXXXy Forum is a lifestyle talk show with your host, Angie Fox, who doesn't mind living in a man's world as long as she can be a woman in it. She loves to sip martinis, smoke full-bodied cigars, and play from the men's tees on the golf course. And now, let's follow the Foxy lady into the FoXXXy Forum.
Welcome into the FoXXXy Forum. It's Angie Fox, Foxy Dame, on this 72-degree Clearwater, Florida night. I feel bad for my buddies up in Wisconsin. I saw the snow that they had today. And joining me in the studio is Mr. Pete Williams. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Thanks, Angie. Great to be here.
It's fun to have you here. I was on your show. I was naked, actually, on your show a number of years ago at Paradise Lakes.
That's right. I think we're going back to 06 probably with that. Here on the Tan Talk Network, the Fitness Buff Show, which aired here from 05 to late 07. So it was a lot of fun. We did it occasionally here, but more often than not, over at Paradise Lakes and later at Caliente.
And you could be totally naked, which was fun.
That's right.
I had to pop my top and my bottom when I went in there.
Truly was the Fitness Buff Show, yeah.
Well, we're live web streaming tonight, so if you're watching us on tantalk1340.com, you can see us here in the studio. And we have a huge show tonight. Nude censorship.
We sure do, and it's hard to believe this is still a topic. I think back to maybe 20 years ago. Remember when I think it was the show NYPD Blue that first showed
love that show.
Bare butts?
I think it was like Ricky Schroeder showed his bum.
Well, no, unfortunately, I think it was Dennis Franz.
Oh, it was Dennis Franz.
Yeah,
but
right?
Did Ricky Schroeder years later show his bum too?
Probably, but I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
it was Dennis.
Really? I mean, I can see how people are outraged about having to look at Dennis's butt, but the concept I thought we were well over. I thought 20 years. I mean, we watch Naked and Afraid now, which is on cable. It's not on HBO, but
right.
But nonetheless, I thought we were kind of past this issue. But clearly, when we're talking about social media, and I understand it's a can of worms, and they have to, I guess, err on the side of extreme caution. But there seems to be some gray area there, and I know that's what we're going to discuss tonight.
Absolutely. It's been a hot topic, and it's been cool to get the interaction this week on social media about this subject. And what we have lined up for you tonight, we have Tom Mahal, who's from the Terracotta Inn out in California. I'm excited to talk to him because he's actually been like in Facebook jail, I call it, where they've suspended his account, be able to post anything for a number of days. So we'll talk to Tom about that. A little later on in the show, we're going to have Susan Bunch. She's an attorney, a local Tampa attorney who works for a law firm that specializes in media. So, and she has a very interesting, she's like the techie of her law firm, so she has a very interesting take on things. And then, of course, we always end with our happy ending, which will be chock full of fun, cigars, and cocktails, which I happen to already be drinking our happy ending cocktail. I don't know if that counts. Maybe I'll get naked by the end of the show. I don't know.
There you go.
Anyway, well, at the top of the show here, like I mentioned, we're going to have Tom Mahal from the Terracotta Inn. And Tom, welcome to the show. Oh, he's dialing into California right now. Tom, let me tell you about Tom. He has a clothing optional place, a very nice place in Palm Springs, and he had been posting up pictures on the Facebook relating to implied nudity. And his Facebook photos were censored. In other words, they were put down, and then on top of that, Tom was thrown into Facebook jail where his actual account was frozen. So, and I'm getting a thumbs up from Cedric. Hey, Tom, welcome to the show. It's Angie Fox and Pete Williams in the studio here in Clearwater.
Hi, Angie. This is Tom. Oh, it is such an honor to be on your show.
Well, we're happy to have you, sweetie. You've got a hot topic we've been talking about all week long, nude censorship. And I know this has affected your business and your resort out there, Terracotta, in Palm Springs.
Oh, my gosh. Has it ever. This year, I've been banned from posting on Facebook for 66 days.
My goodness.
And,
what's up with that?
Well, it's so interesting. I have been posting non-nude nudist pictures, and Facebook, somebody has been reporting the pictures to Facebook, or Facebook censors themselves have been censoring those pictures, and they've been just issuing one ban after another to me. Last year, towards the end of the year, I posted a story on MSN. I posted a link to it. MSN is owned by Bill Gates, and they said that link to MSN was obscene or pornographic, and they banned me from posting. I also posted a story on The Guardian. The Guardian is like the New York Times, the Washington Post of England. Also, no photos. And I was also banned because it had words like nudist and nude in it. It's crazy.
Tom, Pete Williams here. I know we've talked so many times before.
Hey, Pete. Oh, yeah. How are you?
Good. Good to hear from you in this forum, of course.
Thank you. Great to hear from you, too.
Likewise. And I wonder, Tom, I guess what's got to be so frustrating about this is the inconsistency of it all. In other words, certain photos are fine on a certain day at a certain time, and then 2 weeks later, something perhaps you've even used in the past, it's not allowed. I imagine that's got to be infuriating.
Right. You're right. There is no consistency, and it's not just me. I've talked with Nikki Hoffman from TNS, the Nature Society. They've had photos banned which were non-nude. So is British Naturism. So has Australian Naturist Foundation. So is Noosa Sun down in Florida. All Nudist website, Nude Diarist. So it's not just me that they're picking on. It's basically Facebook has a bug up their butt about nudists.
Let me ask you this, Tom. Is it related to the words that you're tagging the description with? I mean, how are they, when you say a non-nude nudist picture, what are they finding offensive? The implied nudity? Are they finding the topic offensive?
Actually, it's so bizarre they don't tell you. And I'll use an example. Everybody's familiar with the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. Last year in September, they posted a story of all stories about censorship on their website. They were banned from that because of that story on censorship. They were given a 24-hour ban. So ACLU, kind of being outraged after that 24 hours, reposted the same story. They received a 7-day ban. On the ACLU blog, they said, Facebook, do you know who we are? Do you know the media contacts we have? You are banning us from posting stories about censorship. We can't believe it. And then the New York Times picked up that story, and then Facebook ended up having to issue a public apology to the ACLU. But the interesting part about the ACLU was they said there is no way you can contact Facebook. They said with all of our power and contacts and everything, we could not find a phone number to call. We could not find an email to call. They are just basically a mysterious corporation that brags that they do not want people to contact them because they can keep down their staff that way and make a higher profit. And they're going, it's the craziest way to run a business and customer service, having nobody there to help you. So I haven't the slightest clue why they're banning me or any other nudist site.
That said, that customer service model seems to be creeping into all aspects of life where it's almost impossible to get a hold of a real person, but Facebook's taking that to another level. And Tom, I guess, ironically, politically, you'd think of Facebook, Silicon Valley, run mostly by 20-something people. You'd think this wouldn't be a group that would be coming across on this side of the political spectrum, at least on this issue.
Right, I would think so. But the thing, the Guardian newspaper in 2012, they had a expose on censorship with Facebook, and they learned that Facebook actually outsources their censorship to Morocco. Morocco is a 99.6% Muslim country, and so they're basically having a Muslim country determine what is appropriate for Western values and censorship. And they said the Guardian came to the conclusion because they do outsource to a Muslim country, that is why violence is so permeated throughout Facebook and is allowed, and nudity is not allowed unless you have sites such as sex sites or hottie sites or escort sites.
Very, very interesting that that's the case. That would explain a lot, certainly. When I was in Dubai a few years back, I was public relations director at the time for Caliente, and I wanted to check my email, my webmail, and they would allow me into the CalienteResorts.com website to even check my email because it had nudity or the words nudity within the website. So they were blocking it in Dubai. So I had a message to the CEO and say, oh, by the way, you're going to have to send me private email because I can't get my work email if you want to reach me. But the case is, obviously, there's somebody other than an American censoring that, is what you're thinking then, Tom.
Right, it is. And it's
that
people
would totally
who
make
do
sense.
not understand our culture. But at the same time, the problem is, I could understand outsourcing it, no problem, but they need to give you an opportunity to reach out to them. Tumblr does, Flickr does, Yahoo does, Google Plus does, Pinterest does, Instagram does. Although it's funny, Instagram is owned by Facebook, but Instagram has much better customer service than Facebook has.
Where does Twitter fall into that spectrum?
Oh, Twitter, they will also contact you. Now, I can actually speak from personal experience with about Flickr, Tumblr, Google Plus, all of them, where I have had emails where people have reported stuff, and they will actually have an individual contact you, and then you actually have an individual you can email back to and explain, that it's about nude recreation and nudism. It's not a sex thing. And every single time with the Google Plus, everybody else, they said, okay, no problem. I've never had a negative with Twitter, but I would assume that Twitter would be fine because they definitely allow nudity on their site.
Tom, before you called in, Angie and I were talking about how we've seen a lot of progress in the last 20 years about remember 20 years ago was such a big deal when NYPD Blues first started having bare buttocks on network broadcasts. Ooh. And now it's become so commonplace. You think of the show Naked and Afraid, albeit on cable, but nonetheless, we thought we've advanced a little beyond that. Up until this point, what has been the line on social media? Could you get away with a bare butt at all, or did it have to be completely implied?
Well, I'm sorry, get away with the bare butt on Facebook or
whether Facebook or any of the other social media sites. Could you get away with bare buns or go ahead.
I mean, on our own website, sunnyfun.com, we show nudity on that. I think most nudist resorts show nudity on their own individual websites. On our Twitter page, we have nudity on the homepage of our Twitter page. Pinterest does not allow nudity on theirs, but they do allow implied nudity, and further, they allow see-through clothing and such like that on their site, which Facebook does not allow. So you can show a lot these days compared to the old days. It's interesting that you said in the 20 years how things have changed, because that's how long we've been open. It'll be 20 years this December. Way back, I remember where we tried to advertise in Condé Nast Traveler magazine probably 18 years ago, and Condé Nast Traveler refused to take advertisements because we were a nudist resort. And then Tanner and Anner both tried to advertise, and they refused it. And then probably about 15 years ago, the Condé Nast Traveler had done some stories about nude beaches in the Caribbean. We contacted them again and said, why aren't you taking our ads here in the U.S., but yet you're running stories about nude beaches being normal in the Caribbean? And they go, you're right. And ever since then, they've allowed it.
We're talking with Tom Mahal, who is from the Terracotta Inn in Palm Springs, California. Tom, it's been very interesting what you've gone through, but when you look at it aside by like Sports Illustrated, the women's swimsuit edition, and there's some, nudity in there or implied nudity, or also, you can basically say entire areolas on a young lady, with a wetsuit on. How does Facebook justify allowing that through and not what you have from your resort?
The only thing I can say is money talks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny. We've actually been a paid advertiser with Facebook. I would bet over the last few years we've spent a couple $1,000s advertising on Facebook. However, I would bet you Sports Illustrated has spent way more than we have, and that's got to be what it is. But it's interesting that you talked about that because I posted on Twitter a photo which is on some popular hottie site, California Hotties, and it shows a woman where basically she just has one finger covering her nipples. You see the rest of her areolas. That photo has been up for about 4 or 5 months. It has well over 1,000 likes on it. I mean, there's nothing left to the imagination except for the finger covering the nipple portion, and that's up. Yet a photo which we posted with no cleavage was banned because they said it was pornographic. Now, my opinion is both photos should be allowed. You should allow the photo of on the hottie site, and you should allow the nudist site. Censorship there's a famous comedian of Australia, I forget his name, and he said the only obscene thing in the world is censorship. And I agree 100%. Both of those should not be censored.
Tom, you were talking about the Facebook suspension. How does that work? How do you even know what's going on, and how do you know when it ends?
Oh, well, they actually tell you. So they will give you a 24-hour, 48-hour, 30-day, 6-day, 7-day, 2-week, whatever they decide is your punishment. And so you actually get an email from them saying that, you've been a bad boy. They'll show you the photo that they did not like, and so because you posted this photo, you're now banned from posting for X amount of days. At the same time, they actually have a drastic thing where they can delete your account. And I would bet in the 6 years we've been using Facebook, we've probably had at least 5-6 accounts deleted by them. And again, for posting non-frontal nudist pictures.
Tom, I guess the question I would have then, if you're a paying person, let's say you're paying to buy likes or you have sponsored ads, and then all of a sudden they're just going to delete your account, basically they're deleting what you've already paid for. Wouldn't there be some sort of contractual obligation, at least for you to have a fair hearing out or, other explanation or have some sort of penalty, but certainly deleting your account? I mean, that seems rather drastic.
Oh, it is. It is. And with no recourse. I mean, it's interesting. I think that we had our local ABC and CBS TV came out here and did stories about us and about our Facebook censorship. And I showed them a canned response to a message I sent to Facebook saying, "Why did you delete my account? Please reactivate it. There's no nudity in this. It does not violate your terms of service." And I get a canned response back saying, "Thank you very much for your email. We don't have time to look at them, but we greatly appreciate you taking the time to send us a message."
Oh, that's how we roll in Morocco, I guess, huh? Yeah.
Right. It's a slap in the face of ha ha, we don't care, but yet you can still send us stuff because we're Facebook and we have no respect for our customers anyway.
Well, you know what? Even the mighty can fall, Tom.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
I would say even the mighty can fall at some time, Tom. I mean, obviously this is a PR nightmare for Facebook, about to explode, obviously.
Oh, it is. And all you have to do is just Google Facebook censorship. You'll see that they censored the New Yorker magazine. They did a cartoon, an Adam and Eve cartoon, where for Eve they had 2 little dots as nipples on her breasts, and they actually deleted the New Yorker's account. And, I mean, talk about doing something stupid, because the New Yorker has so much clout, and right away they wrote a story about that, and they made fun of Facebook. How big of a dot counts as a nipple? And it was just,
Baby, my dot would be very big on my tatas.
Yeah, but I think Mary Claire's would too. And so it was a PR nightmare where they had to publicly apologize to the New Yorker, but yet they've done it to art museums. They've done it to Jeu de Paume in France, which is one of the top art museums after the Louvre in France. They did it to an art museum up in Stockholm, Sweden. They did it to a art school in New York City, and especially because they say that they allow nudity in artwork, but yet they banned those art museums for posting old classic nudes, saying come and see our nudes. It's like saying we've got a Da Vinci nude, but yet if you post it on even though we tell you it's okay to post, if you're a museum and you post it on your site, we're going to delete your account.
You know what, Tom? If they're concerned about an age restriction, when you sign up for Facebook, you actually have to put your age that's in there, and there's a certain age limit for you even to have a Facebook account. I think it's 13. Why wouldn't they be able to allow it to be basically saying somebody has to be at least 18 years old to able to see this page? If they want to restrict it that way, that'd be an option in their logarithm, right?
I would think it would be completely logical, and that's what Google Plus does. Mm-hmm. That's what Twitter does. That's what Tumblr does. That's what Flickr does. I mean, all these other companies all do it. Why doesn't Facebook? I don't understand. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg, and I don't understand the logic of why they would much rather piss off people than appeal to what people are looking for. And especially, people are really looking for information about nude recreation. Facebook, as much as Facebook bugs me for their censorship, they are mainstream America. They are not just mainstream America, they're mainstream world. And nudists, I have nudists who say, "Oh, I wish there's a nudist site just for us so we wouldn't be bugged." And I say, "No, you don't." I said, "You want to be mainstream. You don't want to be back in the nudist colony thinking where we're hidden away and it's hush-hush about us. You want to be out there along with the gays, lesbians, everybody else.
Transgender, everything you possibly can think of.
Right. Nude recreation is mainstream now. The nudist colony thinking that's like 50 years ago. I don't want to backtrack to it. And so that's why I'm happy that you're having me on the radio. And actually, for you to know, because of this, I just got a call from a gentleman over in San Bernardino, California. I'm going to be on his radio station on Monday talking about this.
That's awesome, Tom. Well, you know what? We have to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk very briefly about your resort. So people who are going, oh, my gosh, we got to go to the Terracotta Inn in Palm Springs, I want to hear a little bit about that. So, Tom, stay with us if you don't mind. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk more about nude censorship.
Okay, thanks, Angie.
All right, sweetie. Stay with us. You're listening to the FoXXXy Forum.
Want to see those suntan Florida girls out of their bikinis? Want to read groundbreaking articles by Ray Bradbury, Stephen King, and the Godfather himself, Mario Puzo? And would you like to see more of the Foxy Dame? Well, the only place you can do that is Cavalier Magazine. That's Cavalier online at cavmag.com.
Hey, what's going on? Come down, come see Cousin Vinny, my Cousin Vinny Cigar Lounge. We hang out, we relax, we have a glass of wine and a nice cigar, take away all the problems, no drama, and we just have a good time. So come down 1470 Alternate 19 North, Palm Harbor, Florida. You can find me on Facebook, my Cousin Vinny Cigar Lounge, or you give me a call at 813-447-8589.
Hi, this is the Pink Chick. I now have a great new app called the Pink Chick Psychic app, available for iPhones and Android phones. You can download it for free and receive great discounted psychic readings. Plus, you'll receive push notifications daily with great affirmations for enhancing your love, sex, and romantic life. Will all your dreams and fantasies come true? Only the Pink Chick knows for sure. Download the Pink Chick Psychic app today.
Silver Street Financial Services has been helping people accumulate wealth and achieve their financial dreams for over 28 years. Hi, I'm Michael Trier, and I'm a wealth management consultant. I love to watch the light come on in my clients' eyes when everything works the way we planned. With all the information available today on the internet, I will help you sort it out and make sure you receive the most accurate information for your personal financial situation. Visit my website at silverstreetfinancial.com. That's silverstreetfinancial.com, or call my office at 407-249-9900. Make your financial dreams complete with Silver Street.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a snitch ain't one. I got the rap patrol on the cat patrol. Foes that want to make sure my cast is closed. Rap critics say money cash holes. I'm from the hood.
You're listening to the FoXXXy Forum, a lifestyle talk show. To suggest a topic, please contact Angie through her website, FoXXXyForum.com, or share a comment on her FoXXXy Forum Facebook page or Twitter. That's Foxy, spelled with triple X's. And now, here is your host, the classy Foxy Dame of radio, Angie Fox.
Welcome back into the FoXXXy Forum. It's Angie Fox, Foxy Dame, live tonight in our studios in Clearwater, where it's a balmy 72 degrees. and we're talking about nude censorship and being naked and skinny dipping. There's one of my skinny dipping buddies there I just saw walk into the control room. Anyway, I'm here joined tonight. My guest co-host is Pete Williams. And, of course, we still have Tom Mahal from the Terracotta Inn in Palm Springs, California on the line. And I want to jump to you real quick, Pete, and talk about an event that you're doing at Caliente, my very favorite clothing optional resort in the entire world. And this is about running naked.
We've got the 5th annual Caliente Bear Dare 5K coming up on Sunday, May 4th, 8:30 a.m. And this event has grown since we debuted it in 2010, and we're expecting 350 to 400 runners, which would be about as big as it gets in North America. These races are nothing new. They've gone on for 30-plus years in resorts all over. But one thing we started in 2010, we believed if we kind of mainstreamed it and marketed it to the general running triathlon community, which is where I will spend a lot of my time, then we could get these folks out to try it and to come back year after year. And we've really gained some traction, and like I said, hopefully it's up to 350, 400 because of its growth and because we've had runners from 19 states already registered, which is remarkable.
Gosh.
We've got runners from Hawaii, Montana, and as far as California, of course, coming to this. And maybe some of them were coming to Caliente. Otherwise, maybe but what we hear from a lot of people is like, hey, I come to Caliente once or twice a year, but we've decided to come around this event. So
this particular event. Now, is it people to show up with their running shoes? Is that all you really need? I mean, for me, I've got big tatas. If I were to run without a bra, I'd have 2 black eyes.
From what I've gathered, women who have implants, and I know you don't, but women who have implants, no matter how large, apparently are unaffected. Women who have natural large breasts, they are affected.
We're swinging in the breeze.
Exactly. And so they tend to wear sports bras. It's clothing. It's a clothing optional run, not a nudity compulsory run, and so it tends to be about 85% nude. So, but again, not mandatory.
That's fun, Pete. I love it that you organize it, and you look stealth, brother. I mean, I've known you for years, and we've done shows before in the past, but you look amazing. So kudos to you and the juicing and all the other. I mean, you eat clean. That's why I said to you in the commercial break, I'm like, man, you look awesome. What are you doing? And like you said, you like to eat clean.
Yeah, I do. I've worked out for forever since I was 12, but I found when you really dial in the nutrition, especially when you get older, because you have to. I think you're just fighting father time, and so that's helped a lot. And so the other thing too, I think when you're the race director of a clothing optional run, I mean, I do races where the guy who's running the show weighs 250 pounds. I'm like, this guy doesn't look like he could run to his mailbox, let alone 5K. Right? So I think you kind of have to look the part, and so that's, even though I'm working, I'm crazy, I'm not actually running the race that day. I want to look like I should be able to. So if you're interested in the race, BearDare5K.com or NudeRaces.com.
And you on Facebook as well?
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you about that because you were censored, though, weren't you?
Well, when I tried to post an ad, the first 3 implied nudity photos, my campaign got rejected. And then the 4th one went through, and as Tom was saying, there's no consistency to it. The 4th photo that went through, I thought, really? That one got accepted, but the others did not. So very strange.
Very strange. Well, Pete, I'm so glad.
Pete, I have a question. Like beta breakers, can people also walk if they don't feel capable of running or jogging?
Oh, absolutely. That event has always been. I mean, that's as all inclusive as it gets. And of course, there's a subgroup called the Bear to Breakers that runs nude, and the police have let that go. Right. Knock on wood, at least till now, up until, and so they have a good time, and so long as you stay on the course, and of course get dressed once you're off the course. So I think they wear yellow hats. That's their thing, so you can easily spot them.
So Angie, see, you can walk the course, and that way you don't have to worry about black eyes.
I would love that. Now, do you do a race out at your place, Tom? Are you interested in doing that?
Well, we're only an acre and a quarter, so I think you'd be walking around like
a lot of laps.
Well, we could run in circles. Now, that's the Kentucky Derby race weekend too, isn't it? Right. So the horses run naked the day before, on May 3rd, and you run naked the next day.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Now, Tom, we've been talking about Terracotta Inn. It is an amazing place, but please tell our listeners all about it if they come out and visit you in Palm Springs, what to expect.
Sure. Well, this December we'll have been open 20 years. So, it just feels like yesterday that we opened, so time really has flown. We're a historic hotel. We were built by a famous architect here in Palm Springs. And just like Miami, South Beach is famous for the Art Deco, Palm Springs is famous for mid-century modern. So we have more mid-century modern properties than any other part of the country. When we were originally built, it was a celebrity resort, so like the Beatles had stayed here, Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, President Kennedy. So it's very, very spacious rooms, and we just still treat our guests just like they're celebrities from back in, the 1950s and 60s.
And Tom, I know you can't name names, but you still get some of those folks today, right?
We still do from time to time, and no, we can't name names because actually I always ask people, can I name your name? And they said no, and so I have to honor their privacy.
I got to ask you though, has Marilyn Monroe ever been there?
Yes. Oh, yeah. She actually used to come here with President Kennedy, and that has been a number of magazines have written about that.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
When we were first built, our resort was actually called the Monkey Tree, and it was considered the place for celebrities to monkey around.
Ah.
So it's quite a history to it.
Uh-huh.
This is why social media didn't exist back then. They could just get away with anything.
No, and neither did the paparazzi.
Well, Tom, we want to thank you for joining us on the FoXXXy Forum tonight. You've been very amazing. I wish you well, and I hope you stay out of Facebook jail.
Oh, I hope so, too. And actually, I was down to Caliente 2 years ago. We stayed there for a week. Loved the resort, too, and the people there. And we're good for, I don't know if you know Tom and Renee from Under the Sun.
Oh, sure. We love Tom and Renee.
We're good friends with Tom and Renee, stayed at their house. And too bad I didn't get to meet you then. I would have loved to have met you.
Well, next time we certainly will, or I'll head out to Palm Springs and see you there.
Okay, very good. And Pete, it was a pleasure talking with you, too.
Likewise. Thanks, Tom.
One quick thing, Tom, before you go. What is your website for people to check out Terracotta Inn? It
is Sunny Fun, and Sunny, like the sunshine, SUNNYFUN.com. And our phone number is 800-SUNNY-FUN.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for being a guest on the show tonight.
Oh, and thank you, Angie and Pete. It was great being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're listening to the FoXXXy Forum on our Nude Censorship Night. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have attorney Susan Bunch on the FoXXXy Forum. Stay with us.
Get it, hot, 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 hot. Get it, hot, 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 hot. Get it, hot.
Indulge your most intimate moments with Date Night from OhYesFun.com. All the toys you'll need for the perfect night. 6 yummy flavors of personal lubricant, a mighty bullet massager, vibrating ring, and 2 condoms. Something for both of you, all in one sexy date night kit. Ask your favorite retailer or visit OhYesFun.com and discover the sexy world of Oh Yes. Vibrating rings, powerful mini massagers, and luscious lubricants. That's OhYesFun.com. OhYesFun.com.
Is joining the Mile High Fantasy Club on your bucket list? Well, there's a local company in the Tampa area called Mile High Fantasy Club where you can make that dream come true. They give you a limo ride to and from the airport. It's an hour-long flight from wheels up to wheels down, complimentary bottle of champagne, a Mile High Fantasy Club certificate for each person upon completion of flight, and for an additional fee, you can have DVD and photos of your flight that are available. There's a total of a maximum of 6 people allowed on this Mile High Fantasy Club flight for $2,000. Simply nothing takes you higher. For more information about joining the Mile High Fantasy Club, log on to their website, milehighfantasyclub.com, and enjoy the friendly skies.
Have you ever been worried about your linens during your intimate encounters? The Love Mat helps you keep the right things wet. Machine washable and available in standard and travel sizes, the Love Mat is a soft, silky, and sensual mat featuring a moisture-absorbent yet waterproof inner layer. Worry no more about that wet spot. The Love Mat has it covered. Visit us at thelovemat.com. That's TheLuvmat.com.
You're listening to the FoXXXy Forum, a lifestyle talk show. To suggest a topic, please contact Angie through her website, FoXXXyForum.com, or share a comment on her FoXXXy Forum Facebook page or Twitter. That's Foxy, spelled with triple X's. And now, here is your host, the classy Foxy dame of radio, Angie Fox.
Welcome back into the FoXXXy Forum. It's Angie Fox, Foxy Dame, along with my guest co-host, Pete Williams, here in the studio tonight. We're talking about nude censorship, and I want to give a shout-out. Our last commercial break leading into this segment was Love Matt, and it's Tyrone's birthday today. So shout-out to you, Tyrone. Happy birthday, and I hope you get a chance to use the Love Mat tonight. In this segment, we're going to talk with attorney Susan Bunch. She is a partner in Thomas and Lucero Law Firm in Tampa. It's a media law firm, and she practices in the areas of media, technology, contests, sweepstakes, and advertising. And Susan told me a little earlier today on the phone that she's sort of like the law firm's technical lady. She's sort of the tech geek. And so she's the perfect lady to have on tonight. We're talking about nude censorship. So, Susan, want to welcome you to the FoXXXy Forum.
Thank you for inviting me.
Glad to have you, dear. I'm here in the studio with Pete, and we were just talking with Tom, who's the owner of Terracotta Inn out in California, who's been in Facebook jail for a total of 66 days so far this year. What is your take on the censorship of nudity on Facebook?
Well, strictly from a legal standpoint, there is a definite difference between censorship when it comes from a private company as opposed to something that comes from the government. And it is a huge distinction, of course, for free speech analysis, because the restriction on censorship under the First Amendment really only applies to state actors, whether it's Congress, the federal government, or the state government. When it comes to private companies, they have very few restrictions on their ability to monitor or restrict content that appears on their websites or their property.
No different than if you're fired for speaking out against your privately held company. I mean, you just don't. There's going to be no repercussions toward your company for firing you.
Well, and if anything, some companies might argue that to the extent that they're hosting a website, hosting a forum, that telling them what they have to allow and not allow would also kind of be a reverse First Amendment issue for those companies, telling them what they must publish as opposed to what they can't publish. But you're absolutely right. What the government cannot do with the great restrictions of the First Amendment is wide open for companies like Yahoo and MySpace and Facebook, Twitter, etc.
We're talking with attorney Susan Bunch. Susan, I guess my question would be, like in Tom's case, the owner of Terracotta Inn, he's had 6 accounts deleted, and he had paid for sponsorship or some of those likes. I mean, isn't that a contractual obligation at that point, and you basically have taken it away?
Well, I think you're right. I mean, I think there can be a contractual obligation if, in fact, you have the contract to back it up. But Facebook has a number of different policies, and several of the policies include some very broad language that allows them to use broad discretion to decide what content might be objectionable. They have provisions that restrict content as specifically as obscenity or pornography, but they also have broad language allowing them to restrict content that might offend their viewers or that might be inconsistent with their particular policies and business spirit, essentially. And they also reserve the right to suspend accounts and delete content and to change the policies on a regular basis, which they actually exercise. And that right that they claim extends in their ad community standards. They have broad language in which they basically say we can reject any ad, remove any ad in our sole discretion that for any reason affects our relationship with any users or that promotes content, services, or activities that are contrary to our competitive position, interest, or advertising philosophy. And you can imagine how broadly that can be interpreted to allow them to pick and choose what content they feel is acceptable and what content they feel might adversely affect their business or their viewers.
And I think, Susan, with respect to that, and talking to Tom at the Terracotta Inn, and even my own experiences promoting a clothing optional race and taking out an ad campaign on Facebook, what was frustrating is the inconsistency of it all. That if you say, okay, this is the policy, fine, But you go with one photo that you think is totally innocuous, and that gets rejected, and then you go with something else that might be slightly more risque, and that's approved. I know from at least in talking to Tom, we learned that Facebook outsources this to an outfit in Morocco, which we know their Muslim culture is going to reject just about everything. But how do you even begin to unravel the consistency factor in this debate?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know that you can unravel the consistency factor, because I think you've already pointed out that the lack of consistency. Their process, they have to some extent an automated process that allows content to be deleted if it receives a significant amount of negative viewer feedback, and they basically spell out that their process may involve automated deletion, or it may involve direct response to complaints. And at the same time, there's no appellate process. There's no real, other than a very generic contact us page, there's really no effective way to follow up with them to say, hey, this content has been deleted and it shouldn't be. There have been instances, I believe, where sort of grassroots campaigns have come up. For example, when the position that they've taken with respect to images of breastfeeding mothers. They've had this history of banning pictures of mothers breastfeeding their babies as being inappropriate or offensive, and yet allowing, at least at one point, allowing videos that showed graphic execution, beheadings of captives in other countries. So it really is inconsistent, and I'm not sure that you can necessarily pin down a particular reason that would explain the inconsistency.
We're talking with attorney Susan Bunch from the Thomas and LoCicero law firm in Tampa. Susan, you deal with this on a daily basis relating to media. What does your law firm specialize in relating to? I mean, how could you help a business owner such as like Tom?
Well, if I were advising Tom, I would really have to go back and tell him, look at the policies that you signed up under, look at whatever, if you have any sort of separate terms that you signed up with Facebook to determine, if in fact there are any areas where you could push back and say, this does not violate those terms and you're not providing me the service that I paid for. I don't know whether or not there are any separate agreements, and if there aren't, then you really are left to resort to the variety of policies that they have on their website, ranging from their page rules, their rights and responsibilities, their community standards, their advertising guidelines, and cobbling all of those together. That's really where you see just how much breathtaking discretion they have to pull content. I think some people have pointed out something of a hypocrisy in pulling some content and leaving others. And at the same time, Facebook, although Facebook has a huge social media footprint, I think some commentators would argue that this is a marketplace opportunity where, if you don't feel like the message that you want to disseminate is being allowed on a particular site, go to the competition. Of course, right now they are the biggest competition, but there are other sites out there that may have different policies and more relaxed standards that don't pull content quite as quickly as Facebook does.
Well, one of the things that had happened to me personally, I had taken a picture of a lady at Fantasy Fest who had body painting, and I was given a rejection. I was given a little naughty letter from Facebook, and the next day my photo showed up on TMZ and had over 1 million likes, and I know that it was my photo because of the way it was marked. And they didn't take it off of TMZ's Facebook page, but they took it off of mine. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. It really makes you wonder what the mechanism is, whether it is in fact really more of an automation issue, or if this particular individual at Terracotta Resort, if their competition is keeping track of everything that they post and trying to flag it as being abusive or inappropriate to trigger some sort of an automated response from Facebook.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. There's nobody at the controls, so they err on the part of caution, take the picture down, and then we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not really a lot of restriction on their ability to do that, short of contractual limitations. When Congress enacted the Communications Decency Act, one of the provisions that survived constitutional challenge was the so-called safe harbor provision, and that actually provides very broad protection for ISPs like Facebook or Yahoo or MySpace that choose to screen or monitor or take down particular content that they feel might be offensive, and they actually have a pretty broad degree of protection from liability as a result of that particular statute.
That's a remarkably growing field, Susan. I can only imagine 10 years ago you probably didn't envision this aspect of your practice going in this direction. I'm curious if you could touch upon just real quick the sweepstakes and contest portion of your. Does that have to deal with people who are contesting sweepstakes or people who aren't paying out properly or that sort of thing?
Oh no, my practice in that area is typically on the front end. I'm usually helping clients try to put together creative campaigns that are compliant with state and federal law, because sweepstakes contest promotions are regulated at the state and federal level, as well as other regulatory schemes. Like if you're a TV station and you're running a station promotion, you're also subject to rules that are promulgated by the FCC. And it's interesting that, since the advent of the Internet, and the reduction in the size of the screens that we use to look at the Internet, the number of regulations that apply has gone up in the opposite direction because of the boundaries that we're crossing. So we often have to navigate, kind of a bunch of hazards when trying to come up with a promotion that's offered throughout the United States, and making sure that it's compliant, in a conservative state as well as in a liberal state, making sure that across the board it's not going to violate any particular state law.
We've given away fruit here on the FoXXXy Forum to keep you regular. We've given away fruit from Tampa Bay Organics, one of our sponsors, on the FoXXXy Forum to keep you regular, but it's all good, right?
Oh, sure. It's one of those things where you want to make sure it's like any other advertising offer. Making sure that the consumers know what they're getting and that they get what they thought they were getting.
And we deliver.
That's right.
That's for sure. Well, Susan, I want to thank you for being a guest on the FoXXXy Forum. What is your company website?
We're located at www.tlolawfirm.com.
Okay, well, Susan, I want to thank you so much, Attorney Susan Bunch from the Thomas and Lucero Law Firm in Tampa. If you have any media questions, obviously you can get in touch with her, and she's amazing. Thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great night, dear.
You too. Thanks again.
You're listening to the FoXXXy Forum. Angie Fox and Pete Williams here in the studio. When we come back, it's time for a happy ending.
Gotta give us what we need. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power.
Want to see those suntan Florida girls out of their bikinis? Want to read groundbreaking articles by Ray Bradbury, Stephen King, and the Godfather himself, Mario Puzo? And would you like to see more of the Foxy Dame? Well, the only place you can do that is Cavalier Magazine. That's Cavalier online at cavmag.com.
Hey, what's going on? Come down, come see Cousin Vinny, my Cousin Vinny Cigar Lounge. We hang out, we relax, we have a glass of wine, a nice cigar, take away all the problems, no drama, and we just have a good time. So come down, 1470 Alternate 19 North, Palm Harbor, Florida. You can find me on Facebook, my Cousin Vinny Cigar Lounge, or you give me a call at 813-447-8589.
Silver Street Financial Services has been helping people accumulate wealth and achieve their financial dreams for over 28 years. Hi, I'm Michael Trier, and I'm a wealth management consultant. I love to watch the light come on in my clients' eyes when everything works the way we planned. With all the information available today on the Internet, I will help you sort it out and make sure you receive the most accurate information for your personal financial situation. Visit my website at silverstreetfinancial.com. That's silverstreetfinancial.com, or call my office at 407-249-9900. Make your financial dreams complete with Silver Street.
Hi, this is the Pink Chick. I now have a great new app called the Pink Chick Psychic app, available for iPhones and Android phones. You can download it for free and receive great discounted psychic readings. Plus, you'll receive push notifications daily with great affirmations for enhancing your love, sex, and romantic life. Will all your dreams and fantasies come true? Only the Pink Chick knows for sure. Download the Pink Chick Psychic app today.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space.
You're listening to the FoXXXy Forum, a lifestyle talk show. To suggest a topic, please contact Angie through her website, FoXXXyForum.com, or share a comment on her FoXXXy Forum Facebook page or Twitter. That's Foxy, spelled with triple X's. And now, here is your host, the classy Foxy name of radio, Angie Fox.
Oh boy, am I happy tonight, because our studio is crammed full of people on our happy ending. I just want to name everybody who's in the studio right now. We have Jordan, our skin turn. We have Paul, Mr. Cavalier Magazine. We have Ed, sexy photographer over there. I have Pete Williams, my guest co-host tonight. Big E, John Emery, who is our executive producer. I have Fritzy, my buddy here, the Vino Vixen. And of course, Daniel Funk, our Renaissance man and also resident Playgirl model.
I thought I was a bodyguard, too.
Yeah, well, you're the bodyguard, too. And then we have Cedric, of course, who's at the controls, who keeps us all in line, which is terrific. And then, on the line, the one, the only, Lynn Marie. Welcome to the FoXXXy Forum, Lynn.
Well, thank you, Angie. Wow, you have a full studio. I wish I was down there.
I just popped it here. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Well, you have an event coming up next Friday where we're going to be doing a live radio remote. Tell us about that.
Yes, the Faces of Courage organization is going to have Smoking for a Cause and beer tasting. And Faces of Courage is a wonderful organization. They've been around 10 years this past January. And we provide free camps to women and children with cancer. And for the children specifically, life-threatening blood disorders. So the cigar smoker is going to be held at Yuengling Brewery. And our one and only Angie Fox is going to be our honorary host. Yeah, we're so excited. Very excited. The cost of the event is $35. You can go to the website for facesofcourage.org, facesofcourage.org, and for $35 in advance tickets, that'll get you 2 cigars. And you'll also have all the beer samples, Yuengling tour. There'll be wine samples. We've got food provided by the wonderful Italian restaurant Benedito's. We're also going to have the book signing by Art Steele, and of course the radio broadcast recording from FoXXXy Forum.
Oh boy, excited to be there, sweetie.
We are very excited, very excited. Faces of Courage is, again, it's a great organization. We've so far serviced 5,000 campers. So that's a testimony to the camp itself and what we do. It's a respite weekend for anyone that's a survivor of any type of cancer. They come in on a Friday, and on Sunday, I always like to say some of the women who are touched by cancer with no friends and no family, they know nothing about having cancer, the camaraderie between all the ladies in particularly, when they go home on Sunday, they don't have a friend. They've got buckets of friends and resources, and it really does change lives in a very positive way.
Well, I'm so excited to do the remote from there next week, next Friday night. Lynn Marie, what is the website so people can order tickets if they like? Because they actually get it for $5 less if they get advance tickets.
Facesofcourage.org. Facesofcourage.org. There are a few places on Facebook you can go as well to get the tickets, which there's Faces of Courage spelled out. There's a Faces, the word of Courage together, so we've got a couple different sites on Facebook. And if you need to make a phone call, anyone has a pen and paper in hand, the phone number is 813-948-7478. And again, that'll be next Friday from 6:30 to 10 at the Yuengling Brewery over in Tampa on 30th Street by Busch Gardens.
Smoking for a Cause. I'm looking forward to it, sweetie, and I also am looking forward to having you as my guest co-host.
I can't wait. I got to tell you, the call before you was absolutely wonderful. I was kicked off of Facebook about 2.5 years ago for a picture that didn't even show anything. I was fishing, which you know I love to do.
Oh, yes.
And the picture
Well, you
was
look hot in a
behind.
bikini while you're fishing, sister. I know that.
Well, thank you. I love you for that. Anyway, the fishing, I was probably had a 6 foot or better barracuda. The rod was just bent to the water. And my partner, Kevin, took the picture from behind, and you could see nothing but my back and a bottom. And lo and behold, that picture got taken off of Facebook, and I got locked out of Facebook.
Oh, my gosh.
It's ridiculous. It showed nothing. So all I could figure is somebody reported the photo, maybe one of my guy friends, and the female looked at it and didn't like it. But it took me weeks to be able to get back on.
Well, I'm glad you're out of Facebook jail because we need you.
Yes, I know. But anyway, she was just a wonderful call and full of lots of good information. But for the listeners out there, again, smoking for a cause and drinking for a cause, we really love to have you come out. It's a great charity, Faces of Courage. It changes lives and makes a big difference.
Well, thank you so much, Lynn Marie, and I'll see you next Friday, sweetie.
Yes, you will, love. And hello to everyone in the audience. Please have an extra happy ending for me.
Okay. Thanks, honey. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
So if any of you want to get tickets, again, it's facesofcourage.org, and I'll be there next week. And then also I want to give a quick shout-out to Ride with Joe, our buddy who does the motorcycle rides. Tomorrow there's going to be a ride called Hitting the Road for Hospice. It's going to start at 10 a.m. in the morning at the Harley-Davidson in Newport Richey. Stop number 2 is going to be at Sky Power Sports. Stop number 3 at LOL Moving and Transport. Stop number 4 at Skydive City in Zephyr Hills, where we have a station as part of the Tan Talk Radio Network. And then the final stop will be at Quail Hollow Golf and Country Club. So if you want to get more information or more details, you can go to ridewithjoe.com. And then tonight in our happy ending, Big E's got our stick of the night. What's our pleasure stick, Big E?
I've been with my cousin Vinny all night at Palm Harbor Street Festival.
Oh, wow. How did that go?
He's just kicking butt there. He's been there since 9 this morning.
Okay.
Selling these great sticks from, you've got the...
it looks like Perla Del Mar?
Perla Del Mar.
Okay.
And,
I like the band.
And he'll be here. He'll be at that location all weekend with his mobile truck.
Okay.
For My Cousin Vinny's Cigar Lounge. And I think he's there tomorrow from 9 to 11 and Sunday noon to 7.
Okay.
And
wow.
go visit My Cousin Vinny.
We love him, and he's a sponsor here in the FoXXXy Forum.
And he'll be appearing on the show next Friday night.
Yeah, and you'll never guess, you told me this morning, you'll never guess what his other occupation is when he's not
a personal trainer.
He's a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a great voice, too. I love his commercials.
Oh, boy. Mr. Brooklyn.
And Mr. Brooklyn is right. Now, our cocktail, our happy ending cocktail tonight is what's called the Strip and Go Naked, which is a frozen lemonade concentrate, 12 ounces of vodka, 24 ounces of beer, and then some ice on top.
It was awesome.
So was it awesome? Did you all enjoy that?
Yeah.
And helping me serve it up tonight is our skin turn, Jordan, who's here in the studio. Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you.
And we were come up with an official name for you.
All
Your
right.
official FoXXXy Forum radio name, which is very important once you've been in, like on the show a little while, you get named. And because your name is actually Jordan Starr,
yes.
Middle name Starr after Bart Starr, who's a very famous Green Bay Packer, of course.
And, Go Pack.
And so forth. Your new nickname is, skin turn nickname is Radio Star.
I like it.
Wow. With Starr. Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, can we get a little drum roll, Cedric?
Yeah.
A quick little one?
Yeah.
Sound effect here. But yeah, Jordan now is officially the Radio Star.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
And then finally, there we go. Love it.
Awesome.
Very love it. Great. Yeah. So glad to have you here. And then Mr. Cavalier, do you have any quick shout outs? Anything going on in your world?
I just want to welcome Tremendous Ad Photography back to Florida, and he's launching his website now. It's a country girl website. I'll have a link from cavmag.com coming up shortly. Very sexy ladies showing off their Daisy Dukes, so be sure and check out his country girl website.
Okay,
wow.
Awesome.
That sounds great.
And I also want to give out a shout out to Daniel Funk, who's in the back here, our Renaissance man and resident Playgirl model. He and I got a chance to go to Sun and Fun this week, and he is a Bell 47 helicopter operator, amazing guy, pilot, and I really enjoyed being with you because there was, things that I didn't know, and with your experience, Daniel, it was awesome to be at Sun and Fun with you. So thank you so much.
Sure, it's always a pleasure to share the fun of aviation with somebody, so that's why I enjoyed that.
Well, thank you, Daniel. And then next Friday, you're actually going to be at the Faces of Courage event doing a little, I think, not fire, but all your tricks that you do.
Yes, there'll be some amazement, amusement, and astoundment.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Angie, when are you going to share the cockpit with me?
Well, you know what?
Is that what they call it, a cockpit?
It is a cockpit.
Yeah,
I'm a
okay.
little scared right now. No,
Okay.
just kidding.
Okay.
Maybe at some point when you earn your wings. You can earn your wings, Johnny.
I got you. Okay.
And I also want to thank my guest co-host tonight, Pete Williams. And Pete, if you don't mind repeating what your special event is coming up May 4th.
Yep, Caliente Bear Dare 5K, 5th annual at the beautiful Caliente Resort. Don't have to go nude, but most people do. Check it out at Bear Dare 5K or nuderaces.com.
Nuderaces.com. And then sitting next to me, the lovely Vino Vixen, who surprised me by being here in the studio tonight. She's my resident breast painting artist with me.
I am.
Anything new in your world? Any yoga things? Any new yoga poses?
No, and no censorship lately, which is wonderful.
That's
for
rare.
me. It is, yes.
I want to thank all of my guests tonight. Of course, Tom Mahal from the Terracotta Inn out in Palm Springs, California. Attorney Susan Bunch from Thomas and LaCicero Law Firm in Tampa. And also want to thank all of our sponsors, Pink Chick, Silver Street Financial Services, Tampa Bay Organics, Oh Yes Personal Lubricant, My Cousin Vinny's Cigar Lounge, Love Matt, happy birthday again to Tyrone, Caliente Clothing Optional Luxury Resorts, Cavalier Magazine, Mile High Fantasy Club, Eyes Wide Shut, and Extreme Graphics. Next week our show will be a live remote from Yingling Brewery for the Faces of Courage event. So thank you for listening tonight. We had a fun nude censorship show. Appreciate it. Cedric, I always love you and all your hard work. Thank you for listening tonight. Ta-ta for now.
WTAN Clearwater, Tampa, St. Petersburg, WDCF Dade City, WZHR Zephyr Hill.